Good evening and welcome to PMR Africa's podcast, PMR Global, where we celebrate excellence and acknowledge teams across various industry sectors. We began this initiative as an extension of our various platforms, and we are honored to have Kabelo Binns, Group MD of Hotwire Public Relations Consultancy in Botswana, as our guest tonight. Hotwire PRC is a leading PR and public affairs consultancy in Botswana. Welcome, Kabelo, and thank you for joining us on this podcast episode tonight. We appreciate your time and your willingness to participate tonight, and welcome.
Thank you very much, Johan. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you, sir. So tell us a little bit more about the Hotwire story, your background, development, and status.
Well, Hotwire, as I think a lot of startups, wasn't really planned to be a business. I worked for the Diamond Group at Botswana, which is the De Beers Botswana mining outfit. And I was in the public affairs space. And a decision was made within the family that maybe I should move back into the city from the mining town of Borap up in the north. And I wasn't really sure what I would do next. But what happened when I was working in the mines is I had picked up the nickname of Hotwire. If anything needed to get done, if there was a community challenge or we needed to organize something for media coming into town, the general manager at the time would say, Kabelo, can you just quickly hotwire this thing, make it happen? So the nickname kind of stuck. So when I moved to Kabelo, some people say, hey, man, come and hotwire this for me. I need this press release sorted out. I never really liked the idea that hotwiring sounds like something a bit nefarious, a bit naughty, but it was pretty cool as well. So no, Hotwire, and I think when we began, a lot of people thought I was an electrical appliance company, but not to be confused with the idea that I actually like the concept of a hot wire, that you can connect two things. And there's an energy that's created by that connection, and it's a direct connection. It's not a lot of ceremony. It's direct.
Something will happen. There will be a result.
Yeah. So that's really where the name and where it comes from. And I mean, I think my whole career has been in the space of media and humans and relationships and public affairs and community engagement. So I think it was a natural progression. And that was 20 years ago. How time flies. Sure. It's a long time ago.
Yeah. So I assume also then with your brand, if I ask you what your brand represents, that's also basically to let things happen, to connect and let things happen.
Yeah. I mean, I liken the idea that we are relationship engineers. I mean, sticking with the theme of hotwiring in engineering, but we're engineers of relationships, corporate relationships between organizations and their suppliers, their customers, the regulatory environment that they work within. We engineer that the most mutually beneficial relationships on both sides are nurtured and developed and sustained. I think a lot of people don't spend enough time worrying about their relationship. They worry about the equipment, they worry about the contracts they've got, but not a lot of people actually have people who are tasked primarily to manage their relationships, their reputation. And actually, strangely, not a lot of people are trained. I mean, if you may be the best accountant and run the best accounting firm, but not many people are trained to be good communicators or good defenders of their reputation or good brand builders. And it's quite sad how many talent goes through life never able to really demonstrate its capabilities to the right audiences. So that's really where we fit, is to try and help organizations be at the right place and say the right things to get the right result.
Yeah. And what would you say, what is unique about Hotwire? Also seeing the fact that you're based in Botswana.
Yeah. What's unique about it is I think we are famously focused. It's very easy in this world of media and creativity to just get very distracted. It's one week it's AI. I mean, when we were starting, it was the internet. I mean, that was the groundbreaker. But today it's AI, and tomorrow it'll be something else. It's very easy to get into the rabbit hole of what's new, what's current. What we've been very, very deliberate in being very, very focused, and I think that's what makes us different. Is that we have always said we are not an ad agency. We're a consultancy. We're in the relationship consultancy space, and we're very focused on that's what we do. We avoid being asked to do creative campaigns, and we avoid, we are able to do all of that, but that's not our first, that's not our first offer. Our first offer is to help build relationships for organizations. So we're very focused on that, and I think that stands us apart from a lot of people in our space who offer everything. They are, what's the old saying? Jack of all trades and master of none. We are masters of relationship building, and everything else falls, is fed off that one-minded approach.
Yeah. You mentioned AI. That also goes with innovation. What does innovation mean to Hotwire?
Well, innovation is a tricky one, because a lot of people assume innovations means throwing everything out. And it also, there's also another piece of thinking that I think is quite lazy, if you ask me, is the idea of, people say thinking out the box equals innovation. I think that's very short-sighted, actually, because the reality of life is that there's always going to be boundaries. There's always going to be a box. The boundary might be budgets, it might be time, it might be staff changes. There's always a boundary, a box, if you would. And I think the best business are those who are able to be innovative with the challenges that they have in front of them, make good with the challenges they're given. And I think that's, for me, with what you have. And so I think it's a dangerous idea to say to people, think out the box, because it says you throw away great ideas. There's always, ideas may not, people are very impatient. In this world today, everything is now. And if things don't happen in the time that people want them, sometimes they just move on to another idea when they haven't actually fully managed and gotten the best out of the idea they had in the first place. A lot of corporate strategies have like that. Great ideas never seen the light of day because people are not really prepared to innovate with the constraints they've got. I just really like the idea that if the best businesses are those that think in the box. So if you look at our Hotwire logo, which looks like that, it's in the box because we think in the box.
Sure. Yeah. I see. And to create trust in the abilities of Hotwire, what would you like to communicate to existing and potential customers, as well as role players and stakeholders?
I think,
and of course, government.
Yeah. I mean, we're constantly trying to make sure that we communicate well to clients so they get a sense of who we are. We're not going to be the best partner for everybody. We're very quick to sense if the chemistry is not right between ourselves and clients, ourselves and suppliers. We like to say we're a grown-up business. When you're a 20-year-old business, we've got the benefit of experience of what has the signals of where partnerships between ourselves and a customer are not going to work. So those who worked with us for a long time will know that we're very quick to say, look, it's not working. The chemistry is not there. Let's try again some other time or try elsewhere. But what you can see about our track record, I mean, PMR is a good example. Our 20-year track record is peppered with awards and accolades right across from day one. We've been winning recognition for it. Customers come to us because of stuff like that, which is why we participate in the PMR, because I think it fulfills a very important place. People can trust when a third party says, look, we think this is a good bunch of people. But what you can know about Hotwire is that we will always have the most qualified people working for us. We are big on development, big on training. I have a saying, it may sound a bit borderline sexist, but the idea that if you're not growing, you're going. People say if you're growing, you're going, but we say if you're not growing, you must be going. Like in your mind, if you're not growing in your mind in our organization, this is probably not the place for you. We need to constantly find opportunities for people to be elevating their capabilities, and we need to find opportunities for them to challenge themselves. What you'll also notice about Hotwire is that right across Botswana, there is very few organizations that don't have people that have worked for us, alumni of Hotwire, in corporate leadership roles, business leadership roles, SMMEs. Even some of our competitors have actually come from being part of the Hotwire project, if you would. We are big on developing, and and I think what you'll notice is that they have similar traits to us. They're very curious, they are very ambitious, and they stand out in a crowd. It's a very Hotwire way of doing things. But yeah, I think we are very proud of our track record in that space.
Yeah. And on which core values would you say you manage Hotwire?
We again do it slightly differently. A lot of people put values on their walls, and few people can actually recall what all the values are. But there isn't an employee of mine that doesn't know our values, because we measure the success. Our KPIs are measured around our values. We have 5 sets of values. We call them the VIRIs, and it's an acronym actually. So value, integrity, relevance, innovation, and satisfaction at the end of it. So these words, these words to us, we are big on value, as in we're in a profit-making business. And I always say to clients, I'm not shy to say I'm in it for a profit, because what we do with our profits is that we can further develop our staff, have the best equipment, have the vehicles, have the resources to actually continue to serve our clients well. So we proudly do work for profit. We're not a non-for-profit. The word innovation I shared with you already, that we're big on the idea of innovating in constraints. Relevance, it's easy to sell great ideas. You can sell ideas all day long, but if they're not relevant, so you find someone with a big fancy Ferrari in the desert, it may be a fancy vehicle, but it's not going to work here. So we are big on making sure that the solutions we sell are relevant and sustainable. Therefore they're sustainable. Integrity is a big thing for me, and I mean, integrity for us is a small lie is as good as a big lie. If we don't accept fake work, we don't accept fake small lies. The idea I always use the example when people say, I'm on my way, I'll be there in 5 minutes, and the person hasn't left the office to go to a client meeting. Those small lies become big lies, and we're very big in saying, I'd rather. I'm famously known to say to clients, would you like, if they're unhappy with me not being able to deliver something, for instance, when it happens, it does happen, and I will say to a client, listen, would you like me to lie to you or tell you what's actually going to happen? I can't deliver this job today. I can lie to you, satisfy you, but that's actually not going to satisfy anyone. And then the very final part of our values, this VREs with an S, is the idea that we do all of this ultimately for satisfaction, like satisfying ourselves that we've done a good job, satisfying the clients, and the S, we call it satisfaction, but we also use it interchangeably with smile. I mean, we got to have fun doing all of this. Like, what's the point? We spend 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week in an office. We spend more time at work than with our families and friends. We've got to have fun doing this. I mean, otherwise, what's the point of it? So we live these values, and I think anyone who's ever worked for us will know exactly what I mean by these things.
Yeah, and that also refers to your reputation. Can you tell us a little bit more? You spoke about how you build the relationships. Can you be a little bit more specific in your offerings, your services that you offer, and then how do you ensure customer satisfaction?
Yeah, sure. So I think one must think of reputation a little bit more deeply. I think a lot of people take it, we don't really pay it as much attention as it should do. Reputation is simply not cosmetic. It's capital, and it must be managed in the same way and the same discipline as you would with a financial asset. It should sit on your balance sheet. You need to know exactly where your reputation sits, because without your reputation, it doesn't matter how good your services or your products are. If people don't trust you or don't like you, it doesn't matter. And we've seen that over and over again. Wendy's in America, the food chain, one day found a finger in their chili sauce. Their reputation was trashed. And it doesn't matter how many Wendy's branches and how many good people work there, the trust is gone, and that's the end of that. Your reputation is ruined. How they were able to come out of that is something that is part of study in reputation development. It's a case study you should spend time on, Johan. It's really, really an interesting story. But the point about that I'm making is that it's really, really important that if you don't manage it, then you're gonna have problems. You will always have problems, and if you don't think of it as an asset, then your reputation is never going to be looked after. Now, how do we go about? I can give it to you as an example of our reputation as a business. We are known as a company that never shortchanges anyone. So, for instance, we are famously known for paying suppliers early and on time. I don't, a supplier for me is our strategic, that's our secret sauce. If I can keep our suppliers happy, you'll find that in the long run, we are able to deliver things to our clients in record time. Keep your promises to staff. Like it's payday this week. We are in the 214 months that I've had to pay salaries, we've never paid it late once. No excuses, no questions. Staff put in the hours they deserve, the respect, the basic respect of paying them on time, making sure that their commitments and their reputations are not being challenged by you paying late. And another thing about the way we operate is that no job is too small for anyone in our organization, and our reputation is like that. So if you find us in a press conference, it doesn't matter if you're the managing director like myself, or you're a driver or someone in the logistics. We'll serve tea, we'll deliver, we'll load, we'll pull up banners, we'll put down banners. Everybody is doing the same job. There's no seniority when you come in to deliver for a client. It's really important that we are seen to be. There's no job that's too small for us. And then we lead from the back. So I like the idea of a wolf pack. That a lot of people say lead from the front. I say no, lead from the back. Lead from the back, because the strong team that we have should pull us forward rather than being pulled forward. They should pull the business forward. And the more people that can do that, the more people we can develop to be in leadership roles, the better for it. So we're very much around that as a mindset. And I think if I was to ever start this business again, I wouldn't do it any other way. We really spend a lot of time making sure that our reputation is top of mind from day one, and we've engineered it that way. So it really does set us apart from our competitors or anyone else in the sector.
Yeah. Excellent. And then, how does Hotwire ensure good sustainable development practices?
Well, for one, you won't find us far from community voluntary work. We may not always have a lot of extra cash around to donate, and a lot of people just throw money at community issues. You will actually find us involved in the working part of it. We volunteer pro bono on board.
Another question that goes with that you can incorporate in that is just, and I can mention it now, is how do you improve the quality of life in communities in Botswana in terms of poverty alleviation, fighting HIV and AIDS, and other socioeconomic issues? Sorry for interruption, but we can just look at that.
Thanks. I mean, it's exactly the point I was getting to, is that our greatest strength is we've got curious people who want to make a difference, who work for us. And what you find that they'll work their 40 hours for us during the week, and you'll find us on pro bono for boards in communities all over Botswana. There's board members in Mokolodi, which is a nature conservancy in the south of Botswana, that's educating rural children on conservation and helping poverty alleviation in conflict areas, wildlife conflict areas. We've got representative people involved in schools, where they are sitting on school councils, helping fundraising to help orphan and vulnerable children, what we call OVCs. Kids who may not ever have a great opportunity in life to get some of the best education in the world, allowing them to actually move or transcend their plight in life, where from poverty to being able to actually make a meaningful life and contribute themselves into the future. We've got examples all over. In sports development, for instance, we're also heavily involved in trying to help communities with getting kids off the street and involved in sports. Botswana is not a very big cricket playing country, and I'm sure in South Africa you haven't heard of Botswana's cricketers, but
you're big in athletics. Your athletes are doing brilliantly. Sure.
Exactly, our athletes are doing phenomenal work, and I think that's because you find companies like our own getting involved in finding corporates to help fund the training and coaching of children like that. Botswana is now boxing well above its weight. I cannot possibly take credit for it as Hotwire, but I think a lot of my employees and a lot of colleagues in our organization are involved in that type of material that actually is making a material difference to Botswana. I mean, Botswana is world famous for its athletes, and there's only 2 million of us. I mean, it's an incredible achievement.
It must be something in the water or the air.
Something in the heart.
Air.
Something in the heart.
Big hearts. Yeah. If we look at Botswana on the global scenery, how can Hotwire contribute to enhance and develop Botswana's corporate competitiveness globally?
Well, I think we just touched on one around the sports, but I think Botswana stands at a very interesting part in its history at the moment. We're finding economic challenges where we'd never believed we would ever have. Diamond sales are at the lowest in our history, and the revenues of that we're feeling the impact of. So there's a big push to try and find ways of transforming our economy from being purely diamond revenue based to one that is a lot more spread out, and we're using the opportunities that we have. So we've got the opportunity of an incredible endowment of tourism opportunities. The wildlife is just amazing what we've got out there. We've also got the incredible endowment of a very educated workforce. The diamonds have really allowed Botswana, on average, to be amongst the most educated on the continent. And these things have allowed us, give us the opportunity to position Botswana as a place where you can have things like tech heavy services offered to the world, call centers, areas where data and analytics can occur, research, medical research. We've got this incredible amount of blue sky without any challenges of we don't have a lot of cloud cover during the year mostly, and we don't have much for pollution because we don't have heavy industry. So the sun and the potential for solar and generating solar in the region. So all these things are available to us. Hotwire constantly tries to help clients when as they position themselves to talk about the opportunity that Botswana provides us to provide the region and the world. Remember that, unlike 20 years ago when we started, when a press release would rarely see the light of day outside of Botswana. Today, a small announcement in a small rural village of Soroe or Takatokwane in Botswana can end up in the furthest corners of the planet. So with the field of which we're in, communication, we really must make sure that we position and we communicate correctly, not spin. We're not in the business of spinning at Hotwire. I actually take the term I find it quite offensive when people say public relations practitioners are spin doctors. It really irks me, because the truth is we're not spin doctors. What we are is that we are in the discipline of telling the truth well. That's our job. Is to make sure we tell the truth well. Not necessarily, we're not in the business of trying to communicate and sound good. We're in the business of telling the truth well. The truth well told. And I think the truth about Botswana is that we are deeply rooted in solid corporate governance practices. We're hugely big on accountability, and our narrative has always been one of overcoming really difficult odds. This is how we can have Letsile Tebogo winning a gold medal, one of 2 million people on the planet. I mean, the odds are highly against him, and yet there it happens. So we're very proud of this capability, this can-do attitude. And I think our role and our business really does get involved in trying to find ways to help people further Botswana's ability to market and sell across the continent, to just make Botswana a better place.
Yeah. As you know, in today's world, one must have the ability to deal with the unexpected. So how does Hotwire deal with the unexpected, especially if you look at the international political scene?
I mean, well, I work in the unexpected, where I think I have a crisis to manage or to assist clients every week, at least one or two. And I think the older I've become, the calmer I have become. And I think how we deal with all unexpected things, and I think the world over, I wish more people did this, is just to take a deep breath, just to take a long, deep breath. And it goes a long way. Because
step back. Yeah.
Take a step back and just look at things and a little bit reflect before you have. And I think by reflecting, we have a lot better responses. I wish the world did it a little bit more like that, because we'd be a lot more objective. And I think another thing is, I constantly advise, as well as we try it as well. I mean, look, we're human, but the one thing is never to take anything personally. You know, there's always, in corporate, it's never personal. It's someone trying to get ahead in their business. And you know, I think the moment you make it personal, things become personal. It diminishes your ability to be objective, to sort things out. So as a business, we're constantly, I mean, as a business ourselves, we've constantly got our own challenges, but I you know, and I don't always practice what I'm preaching, by the way. So there are days where my calmness doesn't work, but that's the approach we strive.
Yeah, sure. So, any other points that you would like to highlight from your side?
I just think and I mean, firstly, I'd like to congratulate you at PMR. I think you guys really do help us just get a sense of where we are, you know, how we're doing.
Thank you.
I think it's a solid leadership position you take, in that you are setting the scene for others to try and emulate, you know. And we have so proudly been involved with you for so many years. In that, what I think, and I mean, I see you here, and I think I don't see you all the time, and I think you are clearly demonstrating this idea of leadership, that leadership shouldn't chase visibility. Like, a leader shouldn't be seeking to be the one on the newspaper covers, but rather a leader should seek to impact the lives of others, that it outlives the leader. You know, your impact should outlive who you are.
Your legacy.
And this idea that, you know, if you do it right, 20 years from now, Hotwire and PMR should continue to exist if you do it right. And the next generation of leaders will be in the roles that you and I are sitting in, and leaders around us. And we should be those wolves, you know, allowing people to pull and actually change what, it's not my dream any longer, because there's now 3 or 4 people pulling it in its own way. And if there's a lesson, if there's something that I would, you know, that I'd like to just say is, you know, when I look back at Hotwire, and I wish for it in 20 years from now to be offering services in every major center of Africa, but I want it to be led by natives of those countries of which it's in, doing magical things in relationships. You know, it's I strive to see leaders just being better and bigger than where I've ever gotten to, and just that, I think, will change Hotwire from a little company in Botswana to a project, to a movement. That's why.
Excellent. So thank you very much, and thank you for a masterclass in PR tonight. Thank you. Thank you. It's appreciated, and thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your time and your trouble, and I wish you a good evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, and we'll see you in a year, hopefully, when you're back with the PMR.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you, sir. And this brings us to the end of our episode tonight. Thank you again to Mr. Kabelo Binns. He's Hotwire PRC for participating in our episode. We congratulate the Hotwire team for outstanding work and service. And congratulations on receiving the Diamond Arrow Award from PMR Africa in our latest country survey on Botswana. And when people are recognized, they feel connected and counted, and they become passionate about their work, their life, and their purpose. And our mission, PMR Africa's mission, remains to recognize excellence across Africa, honor high-performing teams, and establish benchmarks for organizational performance. Thank you and good night.